In the world of modern horror, Clive Barker most certainly does not need any introduction. He has garnered quite a reputation for his imaginative, grotesque characters and surreal world-building techniques that blur the line between fiction and reality. Besides writing some iconic stories such as Hellraiser and Books of Blood, Barker has published a plethora of novels for adults and children alike. Among these novels, The Thief of Always was a dark fantasy comic published by HarperCollins in 1992, and it introduced us to the terrifying entity known as Mr. Hood. Today, we shall explore this comic in detail and especially glance at this soulless entity, which is undeniably the backbone of this story. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Introduction to The Thief of Always. Starting with an introduction to our protagonist, Harvey Swick. The comic tells us about his troubles as a bored young kid. He starts having imaginative dreams about the month of February killing him, and he seems to be quite starved for fun. Meanwhile, his mother pesters him to clean his room and make himself useful, while he declares that he is just 10 and then he will die if he doesn't have any fun soon. In the midst of his brooding, Harvey soon finds himself face to face with a strange man, Rictus. Rictus wonders if he has gotten the wrong house, but Harvey soon asks him how he got into the house. He reveals that he flew in through the window after he heard Harvey sigh out loud over his current state. Rictus soon offers to take him on an adventure out of this world, and Harvey soon asks him a bunch of follow-up questions. His inquisitive nature seems to rub Rictus the wrong way, and he almost starts leaving when Harvey stops him with a promise that he will not ask more questions anymore. Finally, Rictus reveals that he could take him to the Holiday House, a fun paradise for kids where all 4 seasons take place over the course of each day. He explains that mornings at the Holiday House have spring-like elements, while summer is in the afternoon. As the sun sets, the atmosphere is reminiscent of autumn, while nights are considered to be wintry. Moreover, they celebrate festivals like Halloween and Christmas each night, and the kids can get anything they wish for. After painting quite a tempting picture, Rictus declares it's time to leave and offers Harvey a spot in due time. While Harvey does not mention any of this to his parents, he keeps an eye out for Rictus and finally meets him again on the way to school. The mysterious man tells him that there is a spot for him at the Holiday House, and Harvey hesitantly follows him to this alleged paradise. He finds himself facing a strange wall covered with mist, and he walks through it to finally find himself in front of an elderly woman. After successfully arriving at his dream destination, Harvey tries to take it all in when the woman introduces herself as Mrs. Griffin. Soon enough, she starts cooking Harvey's meals and tells him about her 3 cats, Stu, Blue, and Clue. Stu got his name because of his enormous appetite, while Blue had blue fur, and Clue Cat had a tail shaped like a question mark. It doesn't take Harvey too long to realize that everything in this house seems to be quirky and fun, but he cannot shake off the feeling that Mrs. Griffin appears to be hiding something. As the comic progresses, Harvey wanders around and makes friends with some of the other kids, Wendell and Lulu. While Lulu seems quite shy and secretive, Harvey immediately hits it off with Wendell and starts hanging out with him. They even celebrate Halloween together every night, go out after hours and steal costumes and masks from the attic. Wendell truly seems to match Harvey's idea of him, and he once even pranks him by hanging a noose around a scarecrow's neck. Harvey then promises to get back at him for spooking him out, and one fine night, he ends up running into Rictus's brother, Jive. While preparing for Halloween, Jive offers to help him come up with a solid prank, and he takes him to the roof to introduce him to their sister, Mar. Harvey then expresses his wish to dress up as a vampire, and Mar uses her magical powers to carve his face and give him fangs and wings. While Harvey successfully scares Wendell, the siblings seem to have ulterior motives, and they push Harvey to kill him. However, he puts his foot down and soon realizes that things are not as perfect as they seem to be. He starts digging around and finds out that the house's owner, Mr. Hood, feeds on these children's souls and turns them into fish. These fishes are imprisoned in a gloomy lake, and Harvey scrambles to escape the house before he meets the same fate. He teams up with Wendell, and the two somehow manage to escape in the dark by following the blue cat through the mist barrier. As they return to the real world, they realize that one day within the Holiday House is equivalent equivalent to an entire year, and that they have spent years of their lives without any outside contact. Harvey even visits his parents and almost mistakes them for someone else, but his mother recognizes him and invites him. It does not take him long to warm up to his home and take a nap, and he then wakes up invigorated and finally tells his parents about the holiday house. While they have trouble believing him at first, they eventually understand where he's coming from and decide to find this place. However, Harvey struggles to remember the path he took while coming home, and they admit defeat after trying to find it all day long. The next morning, Harvey's father decides to contact the police while his mother steps out to shop. As he finds himself alone, Harvey wanders off to his old room and peeks out the window when he spots Wendell walking towards his house. He rushes to the door and invites him in, and Wendell soon tells him that his parents had gotten divorced and his mother is now overweight. He had a hard time adjusting to these changes, and he confides in Harvey in the hopes of finding a solution. They both agree that they had lost a whole lot of time while staying inside the holiday house, and that the only way to regain this time would be by returning to the same place. Soon enough, the two boys make their way back to the holiday house, and shockingly, they have no trouble finding the place. As soon as he arrives, Harvey realizes that Hood is a master of magic and illusion, and he only manages to keep the place running with his tricks. He then comes up with a plan to drain his magical powers and starts wishing for a number of things at once. While Hood tries to fulfill all his desires, his powers eventually run out, and he declares that Harvey has one last wish left. The kid then thinks on his feet and wishes for all the seasons to return all at once, and the intensity of this wish results in a lightning storm that burns the entire place down. While Hood burns down in the fire, Harvey's victory is quite short-lived, as Hood manages to rebuild a body using the house's debris. He does comment on Harvey's courage and points out that Wendell could not stay as strong as him. As the panel shifts, we see Wendell staring at the house in a trance with no desire to snap out of his current state. On the other hand, Harvey bravely stands his ground, and Hood then offers to turn him into an immortal vampire, a thief of always. While this offer might be tempting to many kids, Harvey doesn't seem to be impressed and turns him down in a heartbeat. This results in a final confrontation against Hood, but Harvey somehow manages to push him into the lake. As the lake takes the form of a vortex, Hood finally meets his demise as he gets sucked into the whirlpool. However, Harvey witnesses a surprising twist of events as all the children return to life and manage to return to their own homes at last. While Harvey had returned to the future when he first escaped the house, the destruction of the house restores his timeline and enables him to return to his childhood. All about the enigmatic Mr. Hood. While his origins are shrouded in mystery, Mr. Hood was essentially a vampire lord who fed on the children's souls after luring them to the holiday house. He doesn't appear in a typical vampire form, as the comic's target audience was children, and he only sucked on the kids' souls instead of sucking their blood. In this way, he was desexualized, and his only aim was to continue luring kids in. He often underestimated others' powers, and his ignorance is what finally led to his downfall after Harvey deflected his attempts to turn him into a vampire as well. The Holiday House, a place of illusion. As the heart of the comic series, the Holiday House does appear as a fantasy wonderland for kids. While the house does have its secrets, there is no denying that it is indeed a paradise for bored, young minds who get to celebrate Halloween and Christmas every day. It allowed them to indulge in all their fantasies and enjoy changing seasons within one day. And Barker's idea behind the house was to create a world where kids could live in the moment. Until its dark secrets are revealed, the house was supposed to be a space where kids understand every moment is miraculous and that they must enjoy things before they slip away. Of course, such delights come with a hefty price, as all the kids lost 1 year of their lives in exchange for a single day at the holiday house. Harvey Swick's journey. Clive Barker had hoped to create a character that celebrates curiosity and childlike wonder, and Harvey's final character more than meets these expectations. In fact, he stated that Harvey's character was inspired by his younger self, who lived from holiday to holiday. Like Harvey, Barker's childhood was filled with boredom, and he looked out for opportunities to do something fun between holidays. At the end of the day, Barker wanted to create a character who had a lot of things going on for him. and Harvey Swick brought this fantasy to life. While he starts out as a bored 10-year-old, Harvey's experiences at the Holiday House also groom him into an intelligent, brave, young man, unafraid to speak up against Mr. Hood's evil. I mean, most children would be intimidated to death when put in a position to fight against a vampire lord and end up succumbing to his wishes. However, Harvey impressively steps up to bring him down and holds his ground, even when Hood tries to distract him with an offer to become a vampire and attain immortality. This speaks volumes about his moral values, as he prioritizes the safety of other kids and the destruction of the Holiday House over personal gain. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we come to the end of this dark, magical comic story that takes us on a journey across time and space. Clive Barker does a wonderful job of presenting horror with a dash of childlike fantasies, and we hope you enjoyed exploring this tale as much as we did. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!